Elder's Vault just came back to YouTube. I love it when he says, "Hey, what's going on, you crazy kitty cats?" Sorry, I just thought I'd give him a shout out. I think that's awesome. Anyways, welcome to Wake the Dead, brothers and sisters. I myself have returned after an absence of a few days. I hope my coming back video was helpful to you in some way, and I want you to know that it comes right from the heart. Um, Today, I wanted to share something with the audience. Um, an artist whose name I have not memorized, but whose Twitter will be linked in the description, has done a great service to me and to this channel and to everything I'm trying to build. I designed an archetypal character which represents not only my higher self, but the teachings that I pass to the world and my gifts to humanity. It's an archetypal image representing something that is not actually something. It represents something that's beyond what I could put into words, beyond conceptual understanding. But everything you need to know about who I am can be seen in this image. Allow me to share it with you. The antlers on either side are neon green and ultraviolet. If you take ultraviolet on Microsoft Paint, you can try this right now yourself and invert the color. It becomes neon green, and vice versa. This represents polarity, and it specifically represents the polarities of male and female within me. I cannot say which one is male and which one is female, for they could both apply to either. Um, the five eyes in some form are linked to the five elements. Of course, the third eye on top being the eye of spirit, what's usually called the third eye. And I have made it indigo, for that is the color associated with the third eye chakra. The infinity symbol above, between the antlers, represents ascension, enlightenment, awakening, salvation. It represents a higher state of consciousness that exists right here, right now, in this moment, and is exactly what I'm trying to guide the audience to. The staff represents, for one, shamanism, but for another thing, it represents death, and it represents the bloodline of not just my ancestry, but the bloodline of all ancestry, and it honors the ancestors while reminding us of impermanence. The eagle wings. Well, the eagle is my spirit animal, but the eagle to me represents freedom of spirit. It represents rising above the conditioned mindset, the false ego. And in a way, it represents truly being who you are without having to put on any sort of facade and being able to rise above all the calamities of this world. Again, on the robe, the colors are green and purple. But the robe, I wanted it to represent the earth. The color, I specifically asked for an earthy green color with a purple tree of life. The symbolism of the tree of life represents such. The roots below represent the underworld, the realm of the dead, and the branches and leaves above represent this world, the land of the living. But it goes much, much deeper than that. It also represents the unity of Father Sky and Mother Earth. It represents sexuality and the union of male and female energies to create the stream of life. It represents, I had to take a long pause there because I can't put into words the next conception. There's a reason they call it the tree of life. Let me just say that. It represents life itself. And so In placing it on the robe, which color, whose color I should say represents Earth, the tree of life on the robe represents life on Earth. But again, the colors form a polarity, and that polarity not only represents masculine and feminine, it also represents day and night, dark and light, big and small, any polarity you can imagine. One of the Hermetic principles is that equal and opposite are one and the same in varying degrees. Light and dark are essentially the same thing, but in varying degrees. You cannot have one without the other. They complement each other. Together they are the universe. The Athame, in my other hand, now that is a Wiccan ritual dagger. And for one thing, it represents my devotion to the craft, to Wicca. If you look closer into the Athame, it has the triple goddess symbol, which represents the three phases of the moon, the three phases in a woman's life, and basically the three faces of the goddess, but as one. Those three facets are Maid, Mother, and Crone. The Maid represents the eternal virgin, um, the land, the earth herself at springtime, before planting. The Mother represents when those exact seeds were planted, come into fruition, and begin to thrive. The mother also represents nurturing, kindness, compassion, and the willingness to protect what is sacred at any and all cost. And the crone, well, she represents wisdom. She represents wisdom, old age, the phase in a woman's life when she no longer has the responsibility of childbirth. Or, if the woman chooses not to give birth to children, when she no longer has the responsibility of, creating mental children. When she is able to, well, in today's society, we call it retire. When she's able to stop bearing fruit and is getting ready to return to the place from whence she came. And as we all know, as the moon wanes, it becomes the new moon. And right after the moon begins waxing again. So that in and of itself represents that death and birth are part of the same eternal circle of life. And if you look at the bottom of the Athame, you'll see the pentagram. Now, the top point on the pentagram represents spirit. The bottom 4 points represent air, fire, water, and earth. Um, the circle around it represents those five elements manifesting in an eternal stream of life, and with the circle around it is often called the pentacle. Now, there's a lot more symbolism to this image, and there's a lot more meaning to it than what I could put into words. But I also would like to add about the bare feet. The bare feet represent the groundedness to Mother Earth, but both the antlers and the infinity symbol represent unity with the heavens above. So it's kind of like the tree of life, where the leaves reach up to the heavens, representing, higher consciousness, ascension, awakening, while being firmly planted in the earth. And that's exactly what the duty of what are often called star seeds, star children, light workers, light warriors, shamans, healers, mystics. That's what our job is here. That's what we're here for, is to bring the upper realms, the spiritual realms, into this world, into the earth, by channeling it in and through us. So we don't take credit for the work we do. All of our victories are not our victories, but the victory of life and truth itself. I am not a master, I am but a conduit. I am not a mountain, I am but a valley. And I am not superior or inferior to anyone or anything else. I just am. And once you realize and truly sense I am, that is when you will see the truth, and the truth shall set you free. Blessed be.